Good morning, bedheads. Click. How's it going today? I hope you're well. Um, Smile, you're having coffee with Karen. Thank you to the member of our community who sent this to me. How cute is that? I've used it before, but so this is Coffee with Karen if you're new here, and we just are on a spiritual exploration, and I call you bed heads because I have a bed head. That's why I call you bedheads. When I have coffee, I've got a bedhead going on. So mine's looking a little stringy today, this morning. So yeah, welcome. If you have been hanging out here for a while and haven't subscribed, it would be amazing if you did because you could help us get to 50,000, which would be awesome. So thank you so much. I mean, seriously, thank you so much for being here. I was just like, when I was preparing for this morning, doing the pendulum and just looking at like, what did I want to talk about? I said to my spirit guides, like, thank you so much for giving me this gift of this community to be able to do what I'm doing here because it's like amazing to me that I can get to do this. So I just was very, very grateful and I'm grateful to all of you. So thanks for being here. Click. So a couple things today we're going to talk about. If you ever never listened to Keith, I'm looking at my TV right now because he's up on my TV, but Keith Olbermann, it's Olbermann. Wow. I've heard of it. I've heard of him and I think I've listened to him before, but he just came up in my feed. And anyways, we'll talk about him. I will post this episode I was just listening to. It's a podcast, so there's nothing to actually watch on YouTube, but you can listen. So if you're just like in the car or doing chores or whatever, it's a good listen. So I will post this episode below in the description. Okay. So we're going to talk about that, little political stuff, and then I'm going to show you what I've recently added to my bullet journal last night, actually, kind of what I'm working on spiritually this month. I have a message from the SGs using the pendulum map, so they spelled out specific messages for me. And I think I might use the dowsing rods this morning just to ask them. I might start doing that just to ask them some clarifying questions on the pendulum, but they have to occur to me because usually I ask the questions you guys ask. So if you're new here, what I do is I'll post a message in the post area. So like we did part 1 and part 2 on anonymous. Okay. Like, just who is anonymous? What are they doing? The hacker group. What are they doing? What are they up to? And so when I do those are all questions that come from the community. So, and then I add a few things just because I'm interested during those sessions. But so if you're subscribed and you put your notifications on, you'll get the notification when I put a call out for those subjects. And sometimes they're current event subjects that we want to dive into a little bit. I just did a call out on recently JFK. We're going to do a session on JFK. Princess Diana, we just did a call out. Tonight I'm doing the 3 days of darkness because everybody's been asking about that. So we did a call out maybe a couple of weeks ago on the 3 days of darkness that everyone's been talking about. Well, some people in the spiritual world have been talking about. So anyways, but when I do them now, like these are just like, I have to kind of come up with questions myself. It's just basically what I'm kind of curious about. So, yeah, so that's what we have. And then I have, I forgot to pull the deck, but I'll have to pause and go but I asked out of my deck of Oracle cards, this is the one they wanted us to use today I thought I would do on Mondays a message for the week. Like, what did they want us to focus on this week? So whatever you get out of the message could be some energy that they want you to focus on this week. Okay, so we'll do that on Mondays from now on. Okay, so this will be like a weekly message. Okay, so so we'll talk about Keith first. So the thing about Keith Olbermann, this episode I was listening to, first of all, he is so clear. He's definitely a Democrat. So clear on what needs to happen. And I like how direct he is. He's very direct. He's a no, it's this, at least in this episode, I've not listened to the other ones. So he just is, I don't know. I just liked how he was sort of taking charge. Like, this is ridiculous. What's going on in the United States? This is what has to happen. And the thing he's calling for is a polling, so a polling, not a revote, but a polling of a presidential recall vote. Okay. So, like, if you were to vote today, who would you vote for? Okay. And he's calling for that because what's interesting when he put it in perspective this way, we only need 24 Republicans, 24. That's not a lot, okay? To feel the political pressure, to feel that their political careers would be over because of what Dumpy's doing, okay? So F-45, Cheeto, whatever you want, the Orange Menace, whatever you want to call him. Anything but, some people call him FDT for F, felon, DT, whatever. So all we need is 24, and you got to bet right now that there are 24. He had said that like a quarter, and I don't know how he knows this, but this is how he broke it down in the episode. Like a quarter of the Republicans are MAGA, like they're just never going to change their mind. A quarter of them are like waking up like, what in the hell is going on right now? And a quarter of them have always despised him, okay? Or maybe it was 3/4 of them have always despised him, but they just went along with it because you know what? This is the thing. I want to know, and it's interesting because of the message that the SGs have given us today, okay? I want to know if enough has happened to deconstruct our current governmental structures in order for us to re-envision in a way that would actually happen a government for the people. It is so clear now. I don't know if it's clear to you guys or to you, whoever is listening. It's always been aggravating, that's for sure. But I always felt like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. This is our system, But I am over it. I am over. It is very clear that both sides of the aisle, it's just clear that all of them are very much whatever works for them personally. So we have got to, we need to reconstruct this whole thing. That's how I feel. And I don't have any grandkids, but I have a lot of greats and nieces and nephews that I would love to see a better future for. And I just think the question is, have we had enough? Is there enough for all more 3/4 of the United States to be able to say, we're actually done with you all fit 545 of you or whatever, 544 of you, and the Supreme Court and the way you guys have been doing things. And I'm not saying that whole structure, like the structure itself would dissolve, but the way business is done has got to stop. They are not doing things for the people. Many other countries do way more for their people than we do for the Americans, and it's ridiculous. So I'm hoping, and I kind of want to ask the SGs a little bit today, are we at that tipping point? I feel like there's going to be a tipping point. I put that in, we talked a little bit about that yesterday, but we want to get to the tipping point, but we don't want it to get too far that we slip into a depression, So I did watch a really interesting video today too about tariffs. And it was really about, I started watching it because the guy was like, well, where do you invest now with the market doing what it's doing and whatever? And he actually explained tariffs really well. He read whatever they posted on the White House website about why they're doing this. Because I keep saying, why are they doing this? Like, what's the point? And he actually explained it pretty well. I will post that video down below as well. I don't have the name off the top of my head. So I thought that was really interesting. And basically what they're trying to do is not going to work, actually, is what he concluded, is that's not going to work. So, but we just we want there to be a tipping point, but not so far that we've gone, that it will take us 20 years to, you know what I mean? Like, it's amazing how this guy can deconstruct stuff in 4 months or 3 months, It's not just him. It's not him at all, probably. He's just the spokesperson. But yeah, so it would be nice if we could get to a point where they are actually representing the people and not their own, not corporations and stuff, I think we need to see something really, really positive come out of this. And I do believe from the spiritual perspective and the things we've been reading and talking about, the golden future, and just talking, listening to other spiritual channels, that will happen. I know Sterling. Do you guys, everybody listen to Sterling? Anybody listen to Sterling? I'll post, anytime I talk about other channels, I'll post them below in the description. And he calls it, his guides call it the Great Reset. And by 2050, which is also 2050 is another date that the Golden Future talked about. A book we read in, I happen to have it still because I figured I'd still keep bringing it up. But if you haven't had a chance to read this, really good. So, and if you're joining the Spirit Circle now, which is the membership for the channel, you'll always be able to go. We did a book club on it, and you'll always be able to go through the video. So it doesn't matter if it's live or not. You'll always be able to see the comments and go through the videos and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so she uses the 2050 as well, which is a fascinating, because I don't know that Sterling has ever read the Golden Future. I don't think, he's just getting that from his guide. So there's some consistency in the dates. But because in the Golden Future, she actually says 2032. So I think we had asked the SGs in there to be like 2035, where we would be like at the, we would really see a difference. So that's not too far from now, is it? 2035. So I don't know. I'm very hopeful now that we could really make some great changes out of this. It's just a matter of how to get there. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So let me know what you think. Do you think, would you rather wait to see a good tipping point that's not too harmful, but enough that we can actually build back better? It's no better way to say it. And I know that's a Biden thing, and I am literally saying, because I think we all know it, this isn't just one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle. I will say there is the one side of the aisle right now feels evil to me, which I don't use that term lightly and hardly ever, because I don't like to think in those terms, but it's very dark. It's very dark. But I am not saying that there isn't darkness on the other side of the aisle as well. I just think there's more lightness there. So, there's shenanigans all over the place. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I just think the Democrats, their values line up with mine, I guess you can say. But not all of them, in terms of how they do business, let's just say. So they're not perfect. And, they work within the constraints of the system. So this is the system they're working in. So we need to help change that, basically, so that it is for the people. It's not for the people anymore. I don't know if it ever has been. Because here's the thing, we have come to understand recently that life was better in the 1960s, not for everybody, but in terms of the middle class was stronger in the 1960s, and it just has slowly declined, which my understanding is, again, very big picture, no facts, but these are just things I've learned and kind of absorbed from watching all the stuff that's been going on, is the trickle down economics that Reagan put into place is what kind of lowered, the middle class. Okay. I mean, obviously there were a lot of civil rights issues, which still are today, but that kind of stuff was not great in the 60s. So, anyway, so yeah, it'll be exciting once we can kind of see the tipping point is over. I think it'll be exciting to see where we go. And I'm excited because I feel like never before in my life have I felt like I could contribute to that change. And because, but I think we're all learning how we can contribute to that change, even little bits. Little bits is making a difference, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I just recently put in my bullet journal. So this is the spiritual stuff. So if you're new, I have a bullet journal, and I have, I'm actually creating one. It will be getting done, I don't know, soon. I always say that, but so I have this index, and I'm creating one that I can use because I know the structure I want that I've been using. And this way it will be like printed and I don't have to. So Sacred Shadows is something that we're working on right now in the Spirit Circle. So I have a section for that. One of the exercises in the workbook we're using, which is right here, I got to do my exercises for this week, is here. And there was a trigger log in there. And so I created a trigger log section in my bullet journal so that I can add more triggers that come up around this particular shadow that I'm using, or memories about the triggers. I don't think I'll have any current triggers around it. I'm assessing like past triggers basically, just to kind of help clear them and dissolve them so I don't have to think about them anymore or be hurt by them. So I'm using it as old triggers, but because they're in the bullet in here in the workbook, there's one page for triggers. And then obviously I got more than that. I got more that I need to at least get down on paper. I'm telling you, the minute I did this trigger log in here, I am no longer, well, we'll see. I'm not triggered. I felt very like it cleared, at least some of it. I'm not saying I'll never think about it again. Because here's the thing. Somebody reminded me, because I'm like, why is this coming up? Why am I thinking about my dad's birthday? And if I'm going to do this and that and the other thing. One, this is his first birthday that he and I are on a timeout. So that, it's almost like a grieving process, right? The first of everything. But somebody also reminded me, this is because we're in Mercury retrograde, which I think we just slipped out of last night, I think. That is a time for review. So things that might have happened to you in the past, if you're like thinking about it again, you're like, dang it, why am I thinking about this again? Because that's what Mercury retrograde does. And I'm so happy to learn now that don't take action. Just don't take action during that time, during Mercury retrograde when you're reviewing. It's meant for review. It's not meant for rekindling. Okay. It's meant for review. And so it's kind of interesting that I wanted to do this. Like my intuition was like, oh yeah, let's do shadow work. Like, let's just do it, and it was during a time of review, which is kind of interesting. So I did the triggers. And then one of the messages, if you've been following the decoding videos that I've been doing, our SGs collectively gave me through the pendulum 8 messages. There's 3 of them. 8 messages for the month of April. Okay. One of them, and I will post those videos here. I'll put a start here playlist for people who are new at the end of this video. And then the decoding, we have 3 so far. We have 1 more to do. I have 2 more messages to do. And it's really kind of fun because we have the 8 messages, and then the spirit guides tell me which card decks to use to decode those messages. And then we're all getting different messages based on the cards, which is, I find that an enjoyable process. So I smile, enjoyable. But where is okay. So in the month of April, so I have in my bullet journal, I am keeping, so this is April energy right here. Okay. So I'm working on those videos, I'm writing in my bullet journal with you guys. So the message number 6, okay, message number 6 for April was leave it behind. Okay, leave it behind. Now that means very different things for I don't know, for all of us for one, but then so many different aspects of our lives, right? It's like, well, leave what behind, So they had in the cards, I'm almost hesitant to tell you what I wrote down from the cards because I wrote down what it meant to me. That's why I like doing this as a group, because when we get the cards, you write down what does leave it behind mean to you, right? And that's really what you want to do, because this is about each of us practicing and listening to our own intuition. You're not listening to my intuition. The SGs are just prompting us to help with the spiritual journey, which is what I love. Like, I have never dived into my spirituality the way I've been doing. One, because I'm doing the channel, but it's just fun to use the tools. Otherwise, meditation is great. I think it's great for a lot of people. And I can do it for like 3 minutes, but I like these active tools, and using the cards to get the messages and all that. So last night based on that leave it behind, I thought, you know what, I might do this. If you guys want me to, I'll do it on video, but I created a section, leave it behind intentions. Cause I thought, and I actually did 2 pages. Okay. Cause I thought I would do the first one I will do with oracle cards. So it's like, okay, well, what do our guides want us to leave behind? And when I do something like this on video, I ask for our guides collectively to give us the messages. Okay. So it's not just my guides, it'll be us. Okay. So I will do a video I don't know, maybe this week. Yeah, probably this week. After I have to do part 4, the last 2 messages, decoding those first. But then we'll do this one, leave it behind. I'll do the cards, but then I'm going to have a second page. I'm just showing you this in case you want to do something similar. I'll have a second set that I can write in things that I want to leave behind, like things that come up in my life in April, because this is an energy they want us to focus on in April 2025. Okay. So I don't know. I just thought, maybe I'll do 2, one with oracles and one for my just day-to-day stuff. So that's what I just put in the bullet journal last night. It's kind of an artsy thing for me because I like to just color in. I was starting to take notes, Neptune and Aries, just so I can remember what Neptune and Aries is kind of energy is bringing, because we're going to be in Neptune and Aries for the next 40 years. That's why I put it in my bullet journal, because I thought, well, anyways, I digress, but I like coloring in. It's kind of relaxing at the end of the night. So I always look for things I can add and color in and stuff. But yeah, Neptune and Aries next 40 years. So we're in Neptune and Aries from March 30th, which was my birthday. So it's kind of cool because it started on my birthday, through October 22nd. Then we have a little bit of a break until January 1st, and then it goes until 2039. So I thought, you know what, understanding what Neptune and Aries means will probably be helpful. You know what it means so far? This is what I've written down. Leans towards socialism, which is amazing. I mean, we got to stop labeling stuff. I'm so sick of labels. Radical, socialism, communism, I mean, I get it, but let's just work towards humanity. Let's just work in love and towards humanity. What's best for humanity? I know that's simplifying things, but anyways, leans towards socialism, which would be, humanity, helping people just in general, it does say inflationary. I might have to clarify that. And spiritual activism. Spiritual activism. So these are just some of the words I've been picking up as I've been listening to the astrologers talk about Neptune and Aries. Okay. The veil drops on scandals, lies, deceptions, deceits, and media. So that there's, that's between now and December and October 22nd. And then we have a little bit of a break, but then till 2039. So Neptune and Aries is probably going to help with the Great Reset, which is what Sterling's been talking about, and in the golden future. So the veil drops on scandal. So the veil clears. Actually, it said the veil drops on scandals, lies, deceptions, deceits, media. In the golden future, one of the things she talks about is that when we get to the fifth dimension, which is like 2035, that's like 10 years from now, that we will actually be able to see each other's auras. If that's true, you won't be able to lie because people will be able to see your aura if you're lying. And it will just be something that we naturally stop doing because people will know exactly how we're feeling when they interact with us. So that's kind of interesting. So there's some consistency in Neptune in Aries. And then being our own spiritual leaders, sovereignty. I didn't spell that right, sovereignty. Being our own spiritual leaders is the next notes I took. So I do like that spiritual activism. I think that's how I'm feeling. Remember earlier I said, I'm excited because I feel like I'm learning how to be a part of making change. And I think, wouldn't it be fun to think about it as spiritual activism? I kind of like that, spiritual activism. I might focus on that and do some intentions on it. So anywho, that's my bullet journal for today. Okay, so the message from the SGs for today is, you're almost there. You're almost there. And I said, well, what do you mean? And of course, okay, F45's arrest. So you're almost there. Now, yesterday they said May, so they've bumped the timeline. And then I said, well, do you have a personal message for us today? And they spelled out, wait is over. That's the personal message. Wait is over. So let me just pull out the SGs real quick and ask them a few questions here to get some clarification on this. All right, so I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and all of those of the purest and highest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel and this channel, so it is only of the purest and highest light as well. Amen. Okay, good morning, you guys. I've already talked to them today, so hello. All right, so your message today was you're almost there. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And you said it was regarding F45's arrest. Yes. Okay. So question, Sterling, and I really, really like Sterling. He's got some amazing gifts and he's talking to so many. His team is hundreds, I think, of guides, so it's kind of cool. He said that F45 will probably be able to, let's in quotes, escape, allegedly, and entertainment purposes only, to Saudi Arabia. Is that how you see the ultimate ending for him? Yeah. Oh, okay. So wider swing on that. Okay. So you say arrest though. So that arrest is an outcome, but the final outcome will be Saudi Arabia. So yes and yes. Okay. And when you say wait is over, are you meaning the F45 arrest? Yes. And yesterday you told us May. So is May still the timeline we're on? Yes. Okay. So question, are we waiting? And because you've been kind of preparing us for months, have you been giving us messages? The messages you've been giving per the pendulum, Have you been doing that to help us spiritually, psychologically get through this time period? Yes. Okay. So, but the messages you've given us, were they the truth at that time? Like the timeline was true at that time? Yes. Okay. If you guys don't, if you're new here and you're not sure what I'm talking about, I don't know how to catch up to speed on that. Because we're talking a couple months of pendulum messages. Basically, like 2 months ago, saying, be safe, stuff is happening behind the scenes. We thought maybe things would happen faster than May. They're saying yes, yes, yes. Okay. And that is because of timeline shifts. So energy shifts, right? So every time, like even we're talking about this right now, and this creates energy, this conversation, and you listening, and then you having thoughts about it creates energy. And all that energy shifts things. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So are we waiting for a collective tipping point? Is that the goal? Yes. Did you think that collecting tipping point was happening 2 months ago? Oh, no. Okay. So you were just trying to prepare us for this upcoming tipping point. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Will this tipping point be enough for us to make radical, I'm going to use the word radical because it's a beautiful word when it comes to taking down corruption. I guess I'm just sick of the corruption. I'm sick of it. Will this tipping point create an opportunity? They just keep saying yes. Create an opportunity for us to end corruption in government, in the federal government, and the state governments. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. You guys are probably like, ask this, ask that, but those are kind of what I have. Okay. So let's do, we used this yesterday in a decoding message. This was like the first time I've used this deck. I've had this for a while. And oh my gosh, I love it. I always say that about every deck I have, but I love this deck. And in fact, we got a Rumi quote. And not all of, they use different quotes from all different philosophers. In this, the Great Eastern, if you didn't see it, it was called the Great Eastern Oracle. Sorry, some people are just listening and not watching. Empowering guidance of the mystics from ancient to modern times. So if there's a mystic in here that I don't know how to pronounce their name, I will just spell it. And you could go ahead and Google it and say how to pronounce. I will do that afterwards, but okay. So I already said the prayer. So let's see. We want, 333, just 3313 just went by. Okay, so you guys, on Mondays now, we would like to get some guidance from you. So if you could please tap into all the spirit teams of anyone who's watching this now and in the future. What message for this week? Oh, hello. These two just fell right out. And they're kind of stuck together, so they may not want both, since it's kind of a new, since I haven't used it too often. So we're looking for something you want us to focus on this week personally. And again, we'll each get our own messages from it. So what energy do you want us to focus on this week? Okay, let me just see if there's one in there they want us to use. Okay, so did I pull the card you wanted us to use for the week? Yes. Are there any others in the deck that you want me to use? No. Do you want me to use both of these in front of me? Wow. Really? The one on the right? Yes. The one on the left? Yes. Okay. So maybe because we're such a large group, we need different messages. Okay, so let's see what we have. This is the first one. Oh, okay. Here's the image. I hope YouTube doesn't pick that up as a naked image. They won't, right? If they do, that would be ridiculous. Okay. Transcend your ego. Lift the veil from the real you. Transcend your ego. Okay. Show up with your bedhead. Transcend your ego. Lift the veil from the real you. Okay, so I'm going to look at the second card and then we'll read more about it. Oh. Okay, here's the image. Let's see if you pick up anything, how it feels to you. And this is Portal to Wholeness. Welcome the gift of yearning. Wow. Welcome the gift of yearning. Okay, so transcend. So again, this is just something they want us to kind of focus on this week. So transcend your ego. So let's see. Reflection. Let me see what part of this I want to read. Okay. So the expression, okay? Take a day off to look deeper into everything around you. Okay, so that's a nice little direction, like take a day off or an hour. Take an hour off this week, okay? To look deeper into everything around you. Ponder what it is that continually renews the fullness of life. Pay closer attention to the hidden messages that are encoded in everything. Notice how some things radiate the glory of divine expression more than others, like trees and flowers that have joyfully surrendered to the energy of flow. Those who block the flow because of their ego cannot experience love and joy in their hearts. So reflection, transcend the ego and restore the flow of love in all your relationships. This oracle helps you remove blocks such as your need to control and the need for approval. I love that. Okay. To embrace true happiness, you are directed to free yourself from attachments that materialize in relationships through judgment, jealousy, hurt, fear, and loneliness. You will achieve happiness when you are distant from the connection to the ego self and move beyond thoughts and mindfulness as much as possible. Cool. Take some time to ponder this week. Okay, so let me know what you got out of that. Okay. All right. And portal to wholeness. Portal to wholeness. All right. So the expression, consider that you have deep desire for communion and have a deep-rooted yearning to attract what you truly want in life. As the longing to reach for what is attracting you builds, life becomes more exciting. By embracing the pain of longing, you allow love to lead you into your true self. That's interesting. By embracing the pain of longing, you allow love to lead you into your true self. This feeling can help you break away from your limitations and gain the freedom to reach the wholeness of your divine nature. The reflection, you seem to have everything necessary to make you happy, yet something prevents you from being fully satisfied with your life. That's a really interesting way. So happiness is one thing, but satisfaction with your life, I actually like looking at it that way better. Satisfaction with your life. Don't feel bad about it. You are experiencing the pain of separation and the desire for union. The heart's longing for something new is a healing remedy. Very cool. Your yearning will lead you and you will reach a challenge. You are now ready to follow the thread of your longing to discover yourself. That's beautiful. So the mantra for this one is, I am starting a new and challenging journey to discover my inner needs for having a more satisfied life. It does say happier life, but I kind of like using satisfied. I don't know. I think the word happy for me is maybe overused, that I don't know, I just kind of shrug it off. But satisfied life, purposeful life, maybe. Let me just see. Did this one have oh, this one didn't have, oh, this one had a mantra too. Okay, the mantra: I am transcending my ego to realign my words, thoughts, and actions with the feeling of love and compassion for the world around me. Very cool. All right. Well, I hope this was useful for you. And I really, again, appreciate you joining me. It's so delightful to be able to use all my spiritual tools and have conversation with you. And I hope you have an amazing day, and hopefully you'll get some messages and you can work on some of that stuff this week. So, all right, we will maybe see you tonight for the 3 days of darkness. Otherwise, tomorrow for Coffee with Karen again. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.